Hey YouTube!
Hey, what's going on guys? So in today's video I'm going to try and prove right or wrong something that I read online. So I was reading on a Honours page, L200 Honours page, so obviously mostly all diesel driven trucks. The question came up of injector cleaner. People came in with their suggestions, what they do, add a bottle of injector cleaner every third tank. Some people add a bottle every tank. But one comment that stood out was a guy who said, nah, that one bottle in a full tank is like a drop in the ocean for those trucks. They won't even notice it, the injectors won't get any cleaner. He said he advised, run the tank down to empty as you can get it, and put in 4 of these. Let me just read you what it says on the directions for this injector cleaner, which is WINS for diesel engines. Directions: add 1 bottle of 325 millilitres to a minimum of 20 litres of diesel. So this bottle is 325 ml. So the instructions are add this 1 bottle to 20 litres. Actually, 20 litres isn't that much. That's about a quarter of a tank on this. However, yeah, we're going to now attempt this with almost no diesel in the tank and just 4 bottles of this, and try and run it through, and let's see if this guy is talking or not. So I will try it so you don't have to. Probably should have I should have probably warmed the engine up first, because it will be a cold start now, but let's get a bash. There we go. I've added nothing else. Let's of course dispose of our waste. Recycling helps the planet. Right, hope I've not broke my poor truck. Ignition on, glow plugs are going. I think I'll open the door in case we get some heavy smoke. So, I mean, this does smoke a little and start up anyway, but as you can see, the needle is empty. So let's have a look. Well, it's running at the moment, although it's fair to say it will have diesel in the lines anyway. We'll let it warm up for a moment and then we'll see if we can drive it. My 4 bottles of cleaner haven't really moved the gauge, so we'll try driving it for a bit on empty and see what happens. While I'm waiting for this to heat up, do you want to see the most professional boost gauge installation you will ever see? Let's have a look. Feast your eyes on this. That, my friends, is how you install a boost gauge in a Mitsubishi L200. It actually comes with this gauge holder as standard. I did have to buy cable ties. At the moment it is not backlit because this is the wiring for it. So, I mean, if it gets dark I just can't see it. So we're good in daylight unless you turn on your gauge illumination switch there. And also the fact that it's an Amazon gauge means it rattles about like crazy. Yeah, maybe when we're driving I'll show you exactly why not to buy the cheapest boost gauge on Amazon, because it is terrible. So far so good. No fires yet. No fuel lines being destroyed. I think I'm going to get rid of this guy. This sucks a lot of oil out of the rocker cover, I guess, into the intake. It's quite oily, so I think I'm going to vent that to atmosphere eventually. No smoke yet. This could be quite a uneventful video. We'll see what happens when we pull that fuel through when we're driving. Weird thing about K74 L200s, ask any owner if he's got a fuel light and he'll probably tell you no, but it does actually have one in the dash. Can you see that there? That's probably too bright. You might not be able to see that from the angle of reflection there, but I've noticed that I can actually give mine a bit of life if I play with the indicators. See that wee orange flash there? Don't know if that's just a bad earth, but the light is definitely there. But it's it seems to be a common thing discussed on owners' pages and forums. People say you need to drive it really low to get the light on, and like I don't know if anybody's ever had the balls to drive it low enough for it to come on. Seems a bit daft that they designed it that way, but I mean, if you look at my Needle now, on 90% of cars you'd definitely expect that light to be on by now. I mean, on my GS300 sitting here, which is a thirsty bugger, you could put 15 quid in that on an empty tank, and it'll, I mean, the light will still be on. So the light comes on really early in that, probably because it's in dire need of fuel quite quickly. But yeah, L200s, weird fuel gauge situation. So I'm now about to drive it like this, so I don't know how many miles to do on it, with just this injector cleaner in it as well. I guess until we start seeing some smoke coming out the pipe or something, then we'll know it's not really burning much diesel anymore. I don't know how combustible that Win or whatever it was, the injector cleaner, I don't know how combustible that is. It doesn't seem to have much of a warning on the bottle, like it's a flammable liquid, so can it run on just that? 4 bottles of it? Let's see. Let's test out the audio on this GoPro. See if we can hear the old whistling diesel. Try and pull that fuel through. Dare I take it on the motorway? I think I will. Where I live, I've got a short stretch of motorway, maybe about 2 miles between exits. It'd be if I had to phone the RAC out. It's also technically an offence to enter the motorway without enough fuel to get off it, but let's give it a go. I've actually been able to drive this truck over 3k for the first time recently. I think I mentioned it in the last video. I repaired a silicone hose, a vacuum hose on the boost solenoid, which affects the variable geometry. So before I couldn't rev over 3k. Found a loose hose, and that seemed to solve it. Still, now and then I still get a bit of hesitation going past 3k, and I don't know if I've maybe still got a vacuum leak somewhere, or if it just has no power. I have heard they're quite gutless as standard, On that subject, I've actually got a guy coming out to remap it tomorrow. I might do a wee video on that, or I might just not hassle the guy with a camera. I might just let him do it. Maybe I should go out for a wee spin in it and take yous with me. Well, here we go. Try and give it some revs. Power suddenly there. You can hear a rattling noise. That is my Amazon boost gauge. It doesn't really like full boost at all. Seems to bounce about as well. I'm actually going to reposition that gauge later. I'm going to put it just on top of the steering wheel, not in the wheel, that'd be stupid. I'm going to put it on the column here with a little single pod, reroute the plumbing, wire it in so it's backlit, then eventually I'm going to get myself a nice brand name boost gauge to keep an eye on that value. I was hoping just buying that one for like 10 quid would answer some questions in the meantime. Just wanted to know where I was at power wise. If boost was my problem or not. And the gauge is pretty much hopeless anyway, so. Right, we're off the motorway. We've sat at 70 mile an hour there at about 3000 RPM. Still going. You know what? I think I might go back up the motorway. I feel like the fuel gauge has rose slightly. I'm feeling a bit brave. Still no fuel light. Tunnel. Bad vibes. We're back on the motorway and I've actually ran out of fuel at this exact point before. Here we go. Listen to that straight pipe. 4k. 80 miles an hour according to my speedo. That's 4th gear. Google Maps does tell me that my speedo is about 4 miles per hour out, or 6 even, I think. I think doing 70 on this, on the speedo, is 64 in real life. I thought for sure this wasn't going to work. As you can see, guys and girls, that gauge is getting down there. It's probably about time we start heading homewards. I live right next to a fuel station, which is great. So let's try and nurse it back. Going to be looking at doing about 20 miles by the time we get home. 20 miles on 4 bottles of injector cleaner. Really interesting to see how different this is with a remap. I've heard good things on the old Tinternet. In fact, before this video ends, I'll tell you why I'm getting it remapped and not, well actually I'll tell you now. I did buy I bought a little piggyback ECU thing. One of those diesel performance chips. On newer cars they just plug in, but on these you need to wire it into the ECU loom. It's like 4 wires, ground, positive, and then 2 control wires, and it basically just messes with the fuel signals, I guess, to the fuel pump. Dumps more fuel in. I'm guessing as a result of that the engine maybe dumps more boost in, I don't know, but I was quite excited about it. It's a little box and it's tunable as such. You can turn it up and down, and that gives you, you know, more fuel, less fuel. And I posted up about it online, and people were like, your engine's going to go bang. I've had one of these, they broke, etc, etc. One lad even said he had it fail on him twice. It just it started chucking out black smoke and lost all power, and twice he fixed it by just unplugging it and plugging it back in. And he says he didn't plug it back in a third time, so kind of gutted that I spent 200 quid to now be returning it. But yeah, it turns out a remap's actually cheaper anyway, so kind of wish I knew that to begin with. Right, well, I've just topped up the tank, put 25 quid in it, because I'm not made of money, and that is 17 litres, so still, even at that, the bottle wanted at least 20 litres in the tank before you added one bottle, and I've added 4 on like 5 litres of fuel, and then added 17, so even at that, we're not done. I've still, it's still running way higher concentration than what it asks for on the bottle, so take another quick spin and see what happens. If there's nothing to report, there's nothing to report. I'm quite surprised so far, to be honest. Well, there we have it, guys. I'm surprised. 4 bottles of injector cleaner. I've done about another 20 miles with about 17 litres of fuel in it now, and just no adverse effects. I for sure thought it was going to be chucking out smoke when it was, you know, going from burning raw diesel to burning injector cleaner. If you accidentally put too much injector cleaner in your diesel, don't worry about it. I do want to know what you guys do for injector cleaner, so drop it in the comments what your method is if you normally do it. If you add a bottle every couple of tanks like the bottle advises to, or what, or if you'd heard of doing this 4 bottles at a time trick. If you'd already heard of that and you do it, then just put it down below. Questions have been answered today. So if you haven't already, guys, please give us a wee like and a subscribe. It helps me on the channel, helps push out these daft videos to other people who like daft videos.